So hey, how you doing this afternoon? I'm Richard Strong. I smoke cigars and I know things. And I'm well over that stomach virus that I had, but it seems that I caught my wife's little head thing. I imagine there's some of you right now that are going, what in the heck happened last night? I've gotten a few phone calls and some messages, and thanks for the support. So here's what happened last night. In the last 2 days, a couple of things have happened. A post that, well, I don't believe it was even on the Niles or a local issue. I think it might have been on Newsmax or Fox. But evidently, I've got a posse of people following me around. And I posted asterisk, hashtag, apostrophe, exclamation point, question mark, you, only Americans have the right to free speech. I was referencing the fact that in a lot of countries, there's lots of things you can't say because somebody would be offended and you'd be charged with a crime. So I said that. And oddly, that sentence, that single sentence right there, generated so many complaints of hateful content and bullying that Facebook suspended me for a month. Now, that's currently under review, of course. I immediately appealed it and reviewed. But so that's what happened last night. That's why there was no broadcast. There was a scheduled guest last night. That guest backed out because, well, they knew that I didn't have access to the platforms. And, they didn't feel like going forward. And that's fine. The really sad thing is the other part of that. Because whoever it was that was smart enough to be able to do that to me, congratulations, you're pretty good with a computer. They also hacked my wife's Facebook account. And I don't know that she's ever said a mean word to anybody. She doesn't comment very often on my posts or any of my broadcasts. They hacked her Facebook account, and they changed the email. So when she went to change her password to be, to make it more secure after my problem, it went to some other email that she's never heard of. So now she's got to delete her entire Facebook presence. And all of this stems from here. Now, I myself have an inkling of who it might be. And, because it has to be somebody fairly recent on the scene. Because this would have been done a long time ago if somebody else knew how to do it. So yeah, I got a sneaking hunch of who it might be that's doing this. The thing is there's only one group of people, and it's a small group. It looks huge because, well, as you who only call me and private message me, you know why you don't like it and why you don't make comments, and why you private message me. Because you don't want the attacks that happened to David Petrilla for having me on the page. One of David Petrilla's people told him, you got to get him off. And David said, why? And they said, because I don't like what he has to say. And here's the really wild thing. None of my suspensions or problems have been Facebook. You know what I mean? That is, I didn't violate, I didn't get Facebook mad. I got people who don't agree with me mad. You don't have to agree with me, and I am not right about everything. And speaking of being not right about everything, I couldn't have been more wrong about North Road. So, to all of you, I'm the dummy. Now that I've seen it with my own eyes, with the snow not there, and no, there was no sidewalk in front of my little brother's house at the end of Gypsy Lane when he lived there, but there is now. DeForest, Gypsy. Right? This DeForest that comes down to North Road. Gypsy goes out to 422. For some reason, I would always confuse those two. But anyways, it doesn't matter. You guys were right. There's mostly sidewalk there. I just kept looking at the other side of the street, I guess, and and a brain fart. Perhaps I smoked one joint too many. Senior moment. But I was indeed 100% wrong, and those folks were right. But you'll have that, and I'll be wrong again in the future. And it was okay for them to disagree with me, and I believe I've seen some of those folks post since then, and I got no hard feelings about that. But just not liking what I say, or probably more to the point, my delivery. I mean, after the blow up on Niles Nation, and we made it so that you had to be respectful and everybody's stuff would be scrutinized. I believe it was Linda Huber made a post that was just, it was wild. It was her imagination. And my response, my comment in response to her comment was, you have a vivid imagination. And that's what caused the second shakeup at Niles Nation. Those moderators that are no longer there, they suspended me for, I think, a day, or it might have been 3, I don't know. I didn't pay attention because I wasn't suspended, but for very long. And they took the comment down, and they called that disrespectful. Look, I'm a tradesman who dabbled in other shit that people shouldn't ought to do, and everywhere I went, none of us were politically correct or socially acceptable in the way that we spoke to one another. What we were was very direct and very honest. And when we were wrong, we admitted it. Like, yeah, North Road has sidewalk almost the entire way. But to attack my wife's Facebook account to silence me, to attack, a spam attack to silence me, is just, I mean, there was a group before that did that. You know, if you look up the word fascist in it doesn't matter where you look Wikipedia or whatever, they all begin, all the definition of the word fascist begins with defining it as a right wing, type of a political group, and then it goes on to describe what a fascist does. So you skip that first part, where it identifies who it is before it describes the actions. And read the actions. The actions are those of today's Democrat Party. Not locally for the most part, but nationally, absolutely. But locally, when you attack a man's wife, hack a man's wife's Facebook account, and you do a coordinated spam attack on him because you can't get him to shut up, well, that doesn't say much for your position. So I hope those of you who get to hear this think about it. None of my broadcasts were ever sanctioned by Facebook or anybody else. None. None of the comments in my broadcasts were ever sanctioned by Facebook. One complaint that was dismissed by Facebook. In almost every broadcast, I talk at least a little bit about how well the mayor and the city council work together to make Niles, the machine, run as a city. Every one, for 2 years, every single one. The only thing that's there to point out is stuff like Roberts Avenue that was getting neglected for I forget how long that was. There was many, many years. I can't remember, so I'm not going to guess and be wrong. You know, different stuff like that. The forests, which I brought up. You know, lots of things like that. That's the only thing that's wrong. Niles as a city, yeah, we could use more. We could use some kind of different thinking about how we attract business. We could, there's a few things that we could tune up. But as far as the city, you'd be hard pressed to find a mayor who's doing as good a job as Steve Mickevich is doing. And yeah, I don't like you, Steve. I found that you're a shallow, egotistical guy. You're not to be taken. Nothing that you say can be taken at face value. And does that mean that you're unintelligent? No. Does that mean that you're not worth talking to? No, it does not, because you're interesting. And but it just means that at least for me, that I can't trust what you're saying. You're like one of those Washington Democrats. No offense meant. So, and there's a coming change. You got some races. When I come back out, I'm going to be talking about who I endorse and why. So you have that to look forward to. So thanks for the support. I appreciate those phone calls. That's what happened. I mean, just look at how desperate. I got to be hitting at the truth for them to be so desperate as to spam attack me and hack my wife's Facebook account. That's just absurd. But thanks. I really do appreciate your support. Have a blessed day.